Okay. We are live.
Live.
Just share. Ayun, sa Facebook po tayo. We're live on Facebook. Hey Bruce, what's up?
Father Bruce,
Yeah, first one.
nakahanap ng kindred spirit in
Hello,
Hakay Mateo.
Bruce.
Hey, it's his words, not mine. It's his words.
Sobrang agit ni Bruce eh. Hanap ng away.
Di ba bago mong favorite si Hakay Mateo?
Hindi. War freak si Bruce.
You know what? I've never seen a gimmick get so much reaction in its debut than Hakay Mateo. I will say, especially in the I think in the local scene. I don't know if you would agree, Ro, but that's what I thought.
I know.
I've never seen a reaction na ganon for a new gimmick, for a debuting gimmick before.
Well, it's close to home, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, in my experience, the truly Filipino or truly universal gimmicks get that kind of reaction. Like I've heard reactions for similar stuff.
Sir Wayne, what's up?
Unfortunately, what's up to Chief Wayne, who's awake at like 4
Hello, Sir
a.m.
Wayne.
Yeah, he told me nung Saturday na he will wake up early just to tune in and then and go back to sleep after we finish.
I gotta thank Sir Wayne though. He parang niregaloan niya ako ng Super Bowl
Hey.
program from the Chiefs
Nice.
and 49ers. We actually talked about that game when I saw him on Saturday. That was fun. Thank you, Sir Wayne.
Julian, get well soon.
Julian, get well soon.
To go back, yeah. A lot of
Gagaling,
resident characters. A lot of the resident characters. A lot of them, unfortunately, from people we don't quite like anymore. Tsaka pag comedy talaga, easiest reaction.
Patok, diba?
Magpatawa ka. As long as you get it right, easy over ka na.
Hey, you know what's up? And she has a question actually. You will give a tribute song.
The final countdown.
I mean, DK already did it, right? With the
Yeah, good. Yeah.
type.
No. She's asking for our picks, not the
okay.
Green Day pick.
You know what? I go back to Monster by Imagine Dragons. Kasi yun na-associate ko kay Brian. It's
Pang
a cop
ilang
out.
retirement song na ni Brian.
Yeah, there was one when
over the years.
he has one when he actually retired in 2016. I remember seeing.
It was Raging Fire by Philip Phillips.
Yun.
I still have it on my playlist because of that alone. In fairness, magaling yung video team ng WWE pumili ng goodbye songs. TK went for the low-hanging fruit. What's a good song to pick? I don't know. I need time for this. We're running out of time.
Yeah. Salamat.
Ito naman.
I mean, if you
Basta ikaw kumanta, friends. Ikaw kakanta.
sa Shakey's Branch.
Oh, all right, it's time to shut up.
Who's ready for story time?
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Let me talk to you.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Run!
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles.
Hey, this is the Cosmic Cactus, Paul London.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the Czar, the NXT champion, and you're listening to...
And you're listening to...
And you're listening...
And you are listening...
And you're listening
to the Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
The Wrestling Podcast.
To the Wrestling Podcast. Yeah.
You are watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Emil Nate checking in as we welcome another long weekend here to cap off the month of August. So, Emil, Ro, are you feeling the long weekend yet?
Happy fake Friday, everyone. I'm so happy. I think it's time to have a well-deserved break. Sana kayo rin magkaka-break.
Unfortunately, we don't follow Philippine holidays, but it's fine. I'm used to it.
I mean, you get extra naman di ba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hindi, wala.
No. Nick, he gets extra kasi they're still technically following holiday, di ba? Holiday pay rules.
Do you? Ganun ba?
Yes,
Ganun
it
ba sa
is.
company?
Yes,
ninyo?
yeah.
Okay.
Onti lang, but
Kung
it's still...
di sila susunod sa holiday scheme ng day off scheme ng Pinoy kasi they're based diba? You're based in the US, yung work mo.
Yes.
The workplace is legally required to pay them holiday rates.
Ooh, yun naman pala eh. So it's not an Emil problem, it's an Emil benefit kasi mas kikita ka pa pala. All right. That's good for you, Emil. For everyone else, thank you for joining the live stream as always. If you're catching the audio-only version, well, we hope that we're able to help you kick off the long weekend or all-in weekend, however you want to refer to it. Dami natin pag-uusapan tonight. But before all of that, let's get to some plugs. And Emil, since you're back, let's start with telling everyone about the Patreon community.
Hey, if you want to support the pod, going strong for 10 years and interact with us and do all these talk about all these good things, all things wrestling, all things life, all you got to do is join our Patreon and be a patron. The link is right there below, patreon.com/wrestling podcast. For as low as $5 to 260 to 270 pesos. Sobrang sulit na yung $5 na yun because you get all these benefits. Of course, the number one on that list is you get to join in on our Discord server where it's fun. It's really fun to talk about all types of things. Honestly, the Discord server keeps me entertained while at work, especially last night. So yeah, but you can also talk to us about anything that you want, and we're also taking questions from our patrons every now and then that we like to answer here on our live stream and on the audio only. So aside from that, you also get some discounted rates of service fees on the pasabays, which we just concluded the last one. Probably won't do another one until siguro November, no? Like
Black
Black
Let's wait for
Friday.
so, magpahinga muna tayo. Pahinga muna yung credit card namin.
Ayun. So, and then also you get to enjoy the review content of the weekly wrestling shows. And again, by subscribing to our Patreon program, you're supporting the pod. Again, going strong for 10 years and more. So the link is right there, patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
Time for some happy row noises.
Oi, Blast TV. Thank you, Mr. Ovation, for continually bringing us. It's the end of August, magbe-burn months na, so that means around maybe 3 or so months until we might be getting WWE content on Netflix. But until then, syempre, we still have WWE content on Blast TV. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all free, all updated, all live and on demand. Even other wrestling content, Heroes of Lucha Libre, Women of Wrestling, other companies we don't want to promote. They're all there on Blast TV, and as well as other content. Ang daming bagong movies, ang daming bagong TV shows. They
Yung favorite
just
show ni Emil, yung Drive, nandun.
ang daming ganap on Blast TV. Actually, the selection of content is actually pretty surprising in a good way. Just for how varied.
daming bagong sports leagues. I've
Yeah.
seen WNBA in there.
Yeah.
There's a new league as well. Parang di ko alam yung acronym, but there's also a new basketball league in there that people can watch out for.
Is the NFL preseason showing? I haven't checked.
Yan.
Is it?
Hindi pa. I think regular
Ayan.
season na. Regular season na.
Okay. So you can't watch the Bears try out their new quarterback just yet.
Yeah.
So yun, it's free for Converge and Globe at Home. That's Globe broadband subscribers, and 179 pesos for the rest of us who aren't part of these ISPs. So go check that out, guys. This is the way. This is the only legal way to go catch up with all the WWE shows that everyone is talking about. Maraming ganap, maraming drama. So it's best to be updated through Blast TV. www.blasttv.ph.
All right. Let's before we get to all of the wrestling talk, we just want to pay tribute to a friend of the podcast. One of my friends as well from the radio industry who passed away a couple of days ago. His name was CJ Rivera, and for those of you who didn't get to listen to Magic 89.9 or to local radio over the last 25 or so years, CJ was most known for being part of the Big Meal, yung noontime show niya on Magic alongside Tin Suzy Gamboa and Ricky Flores. And if you were listening to the Big Meal during the late 2000s or early to mid 2010s, they actually had a game there called Beat Suzy. And every time they would start the game, they would play the Ultimate Warriors theme. And that was one of the ways that CJ let his wrestling fandom just bleed into his programming. I remember that they piniplay din nila yung theme song ng DX. And it caught my attention.
Yes.
And because CJ... Diba? And because CJ was just working in the station across the hall, inabangan ko siya and I asked if he would be down to guest on the Wrestling podcast. And it's early days, nung SGP podcast pa kami. So he was kind enough to spend like 3 hours hanging out with us in our old recording area sa Mellow 94.7 prod booth. So we spent 3 hours just talking radio and wrestling, which was such a treat for me as a fan of CJ, from listening to the radio to hanging out with him. Eventually, we got to work together kahit na sobrang sandali lang, just 5 months. But CJ, gave me a chance to do a quick radio comeback for the station I've always wanted to be a part of, which was Play FM. And to work under him, those were several dream items that I was able to knock off my bucket list. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I've been telling friends who would listen na in sports terms, he's the type of player, or the type of coach rather, that you would run through a brick wall for. And that's something that I felt from all of the people who CJ trained and worked with, and I felt the same way. So it really sucks that he got sick, he got cancer a year and a half into his marriage, and that he's no longer with us. But he was well loved. He was the best among us. Truly one of the goats of local radio. So rest in peace to CJ Rivera. Si Chino can't be here tonight, but he also was part of Magic's Junior Jock program, so he also wanted to say a few words. So sabi niya, when he first joined the Junior Jock program ng Magic, people assumed he was a nepo hire kasi raw magkamukha sila ni CJ. There was even a batchmate from radio that actually thought that Chino was CJ for a good month. But after finally meeting CJ, sabi ni Chino, and after listening to his wisdom and his radio experience, being called a CJ lookalike was a high honor. Chino adds that they weren't close, but in the few times that he got to sit in the Big Meal, he benefited from CJ's tutelage and the kindness and warmth that he gave to people around him. Chino adds that cancer is a bitch and that he's glad that he's finally free of all that pain because his presence will definitely be missed. So rest in peace to CJ Rivera. Ikaw, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. Yes. I only met CJ once, which is that time when he recorded with us, and he sat with us for 3 hours, and he didn't have to. Kasi that is a long time for anything. Para na siya nag radio show because the Big Meal is like from 12 to 3 or 11. Yeah, 12 to 3.
It was.
So I was a huge Big Meal fan. in college and in in my early adult life, and it was a real treat for me to have CJ on as part of the show, as a guest on the show rather, and to have him spend that much time talking to us about wrestling. And sino ba kami, diba? We were just kids doing an upstart pro wrestling podcast. Nobody had to stay for 3 hours. That's way too fucking long, but he did that. And he was so cool about it. And he was so nice about it as well. Parang game na game siya talaga makapagsalita about wrestling. I feel like he was one of the people who needed wrestling friends in his life to process stuff with. So I'm glad that we were that for him for a night, diba? And it really
Mhm.
truly is unfortunate that he had to pass so early, and because he fell victim to the big C. And my heart goes out to his friends and his wife that he leaves behind, and I hope that he is in a better place without any more pain.
Yeah. Shout out to Tin and to Ricky Flo who brought the radio community last night. We shared stories and eulogies about CJ's life, and it was just amazing to see 4 decades worth of radio being represented in just one place, showing love and honoring yung legacy that CJ leaves behind. So thank you to Siege for everything. We love you, man, and we're just glad now you're pain free now. All right. That was tough, to talk about. So, no better way to move forward than to get into why we're here, which is to talk about wrestling. And we're gonna start with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and yung ganap nila from Monday Night Raw, where they finally made the strap match official. And it's not just a strap match; it is actually a four-corner strap match. And if you're not familiar with the format, you're basically tied to one another. And then the first wrestler to go through the four corners and touch the turnbuckles, you get to win the match. So it's very interesting because we haven't really seen a four corner strap match in WWE since 2015. The last one was Cena versus Rusev in the Russian chain match from Extreme Rules 2015. And ayun, I guess this is part of the build up towards what I'm assuming. Wala akong inside info or whatever. I'm assuming that's probably going to lead to Hell in a Cell by Bad Blood. So, what do you think about where this has all gone down? They've got a strap match. CM Punk has admitted that it's not really about the bracelet, but then he says, "Now I'm like Taylor Swift for men," and the way that their feud has gone so far.
Emil, go.
Ito, yung about sa promo no Raw, I feel like they're trying everything to justify the SummerSlam finish. Now, and they're trying everything to incorporate the bracelet late into the story, even though it wasn't even part of the story until like last month. And this feud has been going on for the entire year. Pagdating naman sa strap match, I really thought the blow off to this feud is gonna be Hell in a Cell, Bad Blood, and I thought they were gonna skip Bash in Berlin first uh, to to let the feud take a breather, but I guess we're gonna have this one, and now I'm not sure. Para sa akin, this should be it for this feud. But yung mga ganito kasing stipulation leaves for a margin of, hey, I got screwed. That's why I'm gonna challenge you to this match next time. So, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested as to how are they gonna pull this off. I mean, it isn't usual that they do a strap match, and as soon as they did the whipping spot last week, I knew they were gonna go with. I knew they were gonna head this direction, but I don't know about you guys, but I feel like their next match should be the last match of the feud.
For all we know, diba, they're gonna do the Eddie JBL finish again, where they're Eddie's gonna try to jump over uh, Punk is gonna jump over Drew and then ends up making Drew touch the corner first, diba? I guess that's the opening for the screwy finish. That's why they did the four corner stipulation. Because I generally don't like the gimmicky stuff. Because it's a blood feud. Why are we making people touch corners? They should just be whipping each other and making each other tap out or give up or pin. Cover for the pin. But I guess that there it is. You're right. That does bring up a good point. Gusto ko yung sinabi ni Punk on Raw in his promo where he justified yung bracelet because a fan made it for him, and then the fans really are just that devoted to him, diba? He talks about the person who flew all the way from Taiwan. At least CM Punk recognizes Taiwan as a country, and diba?
And not Chinese
And-
Taipei.
So, natahi naman niya yun, di ba? Natahi na yung fact na people really are devoted to him to the point that he is the Taylor Swift for men, which says a lot about men than it does about CM Punk. Diba? So, I respect the attempts to make it make sense. Kasi at least, diba, you already have this. You're already dying on this hill. You might as well make it mean something, right? So I like that. And hindi naman siya pangit talaga. It's not a terrible plot device to have on paper. It's just that kulang lang talaga yung execution, and to tie into what I said last week about it. I like that they're trying to make up for it now by making it mean more.
Mm-hmm. To answer Julian's question, yung strap match ni na Daniel Bryan and The Fiend from Royal Rumble 2020 was just a regular strap match. So if you're looking for yung four corners types, kakaunti lang talaga. So there's Eddie, JBL, I believe Shad versus JTG from Extreme Rules 2010 was also four corners.
Wow.
No, it was not. It was not. It was not.
It was. It was.
Was it? Talaga?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
It was.
Hindi kasi bull rope yung gamit nila. Okay.
Shame.
Jesus Christ.
Umaga and CM Punk was also four corners. That was 2009. I think Sheamus, Mark Henry from 2013, and then Cena Rusev from 2015. Then yun na. We haven't had a four corner strap match since. So this will be the first in like 9 years. In 9 years. All right, we got more stuff from Raw to talk about, but first we'll take a break and then we'll come back and we're gonna hear muna from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network.
Are you on mute, Stan?
I think you're on mute.
Well, I'm here. Sobrang weird. I'm hearing the music for the break in my ear. So I was like, teka lang, are we back or what? Anyway, let's get to this comment from Howard, who points out that this CM Punk and Drew McIntyre strap match reminds him of JBL versus Eddie Guerrero in Texas Bull Rope match nila from the Great American Bash. So for him, synonymous daw yung Great American Bash to strap matches.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. Sinadya kaya nila yun. Nagkataon lang ba na the strap match ended up, coinciding with a PLE with Bash in its name? Kasi, or did they do a strap match because the PLE has Bash in its name? So I want to know.
I think it's more of a coincidence.
It better be.
They're doing Bash in NXT, the Bash at Great American Bash. That's an NXT,
wala namang strap match dun.
It's just a coincidence, but that's actually an interesting point, I will say.
Yeah, NXT has had a strap match or two na rin, pero I think it happened like at a takeover or something. I remember Cameron Grimes and I think Dexter Loomis had that strap match. So yun, it wasn't Bash related naman. And then you had the Extreme Rules pay-per-views. So.
Siguro na trauma na ako sa mga four corners match because of that Eddie finish. It was
yeah, that leaves a mark.
It was one of if you were there, Emil, it was one of the most anticlimactic ends to a huge highly awaited championship reign.
Ito ba yung nasa corner si JBL
Yeah,
tapos
yeah, no, yeah, yeah,
he,
yeah,
acci-
yeah.
he accidentally
Yeah,
touched the okay.
yeah, yes, yes.
With his
I saw
shoulder.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Eddie technically made JBL touch the corner and made himself lose, diba? And it was executed well, pero like it was the worst possible way to have Eddie lose the championship.
To be fair, that really pissed me off as a 14-year-old. I
Diba?
was
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
why?
exactly.
Bakit ganito? So,
Exactly.
the intended outcome was achieved because like 14-year-old me was really livid na nangyari yun. All right, let's move on and let's talk about the New Day and the Final Testament. Ito, Ro, I know you've got feelings about Karrion Kross and yung involvement ng faction niya in this New Day story.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone's been like watching Raw week to week and then just completely tuning out the anything that Karrion Kross says and does. Even when he's with even when he's in the segment with the New Day. I don't know what it is. He's just so heatless, People the kids will say na wala na siyang aura. And it's true, Nothing about him compels me or anyone for that matter. And the only parang it's one of those things that why are we giving this story airtime week to week? And yung pala, it's because they want to sow the seeds of discord among the New Day, among Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, diba? And it gets a lot more interesting when it's just them. Kasi now you're faced with the prospect of are the New Day as we know it now really gonna break up? Diba? Kasi they've insisted for so long now since the last decade, I guess. They weren't gonna break up. They wanted to be a team that doesn't break up no matter what happens. So even if say Big E gets drafted on a separate brand, diba? So that's where the drama and the tension is coming from. But other than that, who cares about Karrion Kross? Diba? Parang, why am I supposed to listen to anything he says? Diba? And it sucks because they put an entire unit around him, and I feel like the AOP is languishing around him kasi wala mga choriwap lang sila ni Karrion Kross, and they don't get any motivation. They don't get any character work. They're just there. And then Karrion Kross is also just there. And then he also just facilitates the possible breakup of the New Day. So I wish the Final Testament gets completely eliminated from the story, as in focus on the New Day, and then have the New Day go through the rough spots and come out stronger than ever, and possibly justify Odyssey Jones being part of their group.
The New Day and the Final Testament has been feuding since since post WrestleMania,
Diba?
and it took them 4 months to make this thing a little bit interesting. They could have got so much time. They could have gone right away with the Odyssey Jones insertion because yung pagmamanipulate or pagtatry na manipulate ni Karrion Kross kay Xavier Woods, as far as I know, that's been happening since May. So sobrang
Yeah,
tagal
diba?
na. And actually, at that time, I was wondering, what's the end game here? What are they doing? And now, 3 months later, here we are. And tama ka, Ro, I think this story should now solely focus on the New Day. I think if the goal was to create some tension there, Karrion Kross already did his job. And I actually want the New Day to go after the tag titles again. That's where you're gonna create the tension. Na is Odyssey Jones, Kofi the better combo? Kofi Xavier the better combo? And have them go after the tag titles. Kasi you after the Damian feud, wala din ang gagawin yung Judgment Day. So I'm interested now on the New Day rather than the Final Testament. I think tapos na yung part nila dito sa story.
They better be. Diba?
Oh.
Around this time last year, people were complaining about the long-term storytelling of Bloodline kasi diba, they stretch it out for so long just to try and make cinema. And then this
Yeah.
is them trying to do the same thing. And now, gets ko na bakit galit ang mga tao sa long-term storytelling, because they're trying to force it on this guy, Karrion Kross, who hasn't quite earned it. Shit, okay. Now, this is a good argument against long-term storytelling, against the whole cinema mindset. Because we're wasting it, or they're spending it on this auralist dude who they're really trying to make work, and it's just not working. I don't want to be harsh, because that guy is he's trying to do his job. He's doing his best, but it's just not working.
It felt like it was 3 months of nothing before Odyssey Jones came
Yeah.
to the picture.
Siguro.
Damn. Ito, may question si Angelo in the comments. Is Odyssey Jones officially part of the New Day or honorary sorts lang? Odyssey Jones is as part of the New Day as Zack Sabre Jr. is Filipino, which is to say na honorary lang pareho.
Huwag ka mag-clickbait. You don't have to say Filipino, you know? You don't have to say he's part of the New Day. That's clickbait, man.
Dami nagagalit eh. Natitrigger mga taong puta. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the women. The women's tag team division has been getting a lot of time on Monday Night Raw, especially with Unholy Union being the women's tag team champions. Like, all 6 of them put out a banger of a 3-way tag team match nitong Monday Night Raw. What do you guys think about the direction of the tag team division now?
It was really good. They're still kind of just cramming everything in para lang ma-maximize yung hours, but it's definitely much better than nothing. Damage Control has been hamstrung by the loss of Dakota Kai and Asuka. So the good match, I just hope, doesn't distract you from the fact that there are only like 3 good teams being booked in the scene right now. The Caseys
I mean,
have
meron
been
namang
kind of
SmackDown, di ba?
Yeah, sure. Pero alam mo yun, all the focus is here. But yes, this is a lot better. I'm trying to make the most. Before this, kasi syempre, the Unholy Union were just barely there. So I like that they're trying to make the most out of everything. I still hope it was deeper, but syempre you can't. Not everyone gets a turn every week on the show.
I can see the effort, honestly, kasi if you would look at the scene, the women's tag team title scene before, it's a bunch of single stars being thrown together. And now you got legit actual teams competing for the titles. I mean, you get Damage Control, Unholy Union, the Pure Fusion Collective, Casey and Katana Chance, sino pa ba? Chelsea and Piper Niven. So this it's not that deep yet, but now we have legit teams. And if you count NXT, madami pa doon, di ba? We got the so may mga teams pa doon sa NXT na at some point will go up and will probably compete for the tag team titles. So you can see
we're forgetting SmackDown. Kasi on SmackDown, you've got all these trios, diba? You've got Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. You've got Blair Davenport also aligning with the tag team champions. So there are actually more trios than duos. Kasi Damage Control was a trio before Dakota got injured. Pure Fusion Collective is a trio. So you have all of those teams in 3. So it's a different time compared to just 2 years ago when Sasha and Naomi walked out of WWE. So at least that's a testament to something. All right, one last point from Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about the Wyatt Six and how they attacked Chad Gable again. So ganun din, kind of like the New Day and the Final Testament. These guys have been going at it for quite some time, for about a month or 2 right now. But I'm at a point where I really want to know ano yung atraso ng American Made or ni Chad Gable sa Wyatt Six. Because they've been attacking the Chad Gable for all this time and we still don't know why. Merong nagsabi sa Discord natin, I think it was one of our patrons, si MJ, na parang, karma yun ni Chad Gable for being such a dick towards Alpha Academy. But it hasn't been officially explained sa canon ng Raw na the Wyatt Six are carrying out karmic justice.
Eto na, long-term storytelling. This is the next Final Testament story.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much time you can devote. I think they were furthering the American Made's formation story first before shifting the focus back to the Wyatt Six. I don't know. Um, how long do you have to wait? Like 3? How many months has it been since the Wyatt Six debut? How many months has it been since the Wyatt
Two
Six
months.
was teased on on the shows? It's everything is super slow burn, and either it works or it doesn't. So at this point, some things have to be demanded. Na okay, resolve yun na to, explain yun na to, and some things are let's wait a while. I don't know which stories get the treatments that they get, but I guess this is now the big frustration of WWE creative, of WWE storytelling. I don't know if it's like a good thing or a bad. I'm still saying it's a good thing compared to Vince's uh ADHD booking, but syempre it's its own kind of frustrating. And just because it's better doesn't mean we can't criticize it for its shortcomings.
Yep. Julian in the comments has said something na he thinks the Wyatts are going after who betrayed their family, but again,
Yeah.
like Styles, they haven't explained it.
Yeah. Oh,
We're just
you think
assuming.
that's
We're
the
just
problem, Julian.
assuming.
You sorry, Emil. That's the problem, Julian. You think the Wyatts are going after those. You're assuming their motivations, but syempre, di natin alam kasi di pa naman nila kino-confirm, di ba? Paano ba natin ipapagalawin yung story if they don't confirm anything?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you just assume. Yeah. So and here's the thing with the long term storytelling. Not everything should be long term. Like, you could have some stories that will only go a month or two, and still be good wrestling or good programming. Because if you do everything, long term storytelling, edi there's gonna be months where walang mangyayari in all storylines, and we're just gonna talk about the same thing each and every week.
True.
Mhm.
Actually, a good
And to
point.
answer Bruce's question, Vin Diesel's not a part of the Wyatt Six. He's a part of the Terror Twins.
Hey, I got an explanation for that, diba? Like before before any of the Wyatt
Hmm.
Six.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go to break, let's take a detour muna sa NXT and talk about Joe Hendry. So we believe in Joe Hendry, and now he's headed for the main event of NXT No Mercy against Ethan Page. We live in a world where a TNA guy is in the main event of a WWE produced premium live event.
Who wins here? I mean, not the match, pero the executive decision to put a TNA guy on the main event of NXT
Eh di
PLE.
si Joe Hendry. Sino pa? Sino pa ba?
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's
But
gonna
does TNA
benefit the
win?
most.
Does TNA win
Yun
anything
lang.
in this setup?
More eyes to the product, I guess.
Why?
The TNA
They're gonna be. Why should they watch Impact when Joe Hendry is here, figuring in this major storyline on NXT and not TNA, diba? But ba ako manonood ng Impact? Nandito naman si Joe Hendry, di pa na ako manood dito, diba? Just food for thought, because I'm starting to see the point of people who are saying na duge TNA sa lahat na to.
Bakit naman? Ba't
Ah,
lugi yung TNA? Kasi it doesn't
Sige.
matter kung anong ano.
I haven't seen if Joe Hendry still shows up on TNA. People can fact check me on this. If he's still a part of the week to week on Impact. Because from what I see, he's part of the week to week in NXT. And if Joe Hendry is the most popular figure across both brands, both shows, and if Joe Hendry is only on NXT, why would others watch TNA? Diba? Assuming that you have time only to watch NXT.
ito lang I wish they could interconnect his story. He is still in NXT. He still appears on the TNA Impact show because he has an ongoing feud with Josh Alexander. So I wish they could connect those. They could interconnect those two feuds at some point, because that's when both companies are gonna benefit, because you got one guy in two shows going through the same thing. So, uh, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised with NXT capitalizing on Joe Hendry, because when this whole relationship started, Joe Hendry was not the guy I thought they're gonna feature. I thought it was gonna be Jordan Grace, but now Joe Hendry he literally gets a main event spot in an NXT special, NXT PLE. So it's definitely surprising, but I think it's just them capitalizing on him going viral all these months ago.
I really hope that these Josh Alexander theories have some weight, because since the battle royal with Kazarian and Joe Hendry, hindi na nag-cruise uli yung hindi na uli na feature yung TNA stories on NXT. It's just, NXT taking TNA guys, or TNA guys showing up on NXT, diba? So I would like for that to happen, because otherwise you're really just stealing the TNA guy for yourself. So sana mangyari yan.
I mean, yeah, Zachary went wrestling Wesley at No Mercy, diba? They've got that singles match kasi may feud na sila ngayon. And then, yun nga, itong kay Joe Hendry, which makes me think, what are the chances that WWE just buys out their contracts and makes them full-time NXT guys?
That's what I was... When I ask, what if NXT, what if WWE poaches Joe Hendry? That's what I mean. I say, what's stopping them from tampering with Joe Hendry by saying to him, "Oh, Joe, dito ka
Uy,
lang sa
tampering,
NXT."
magagalit si TK.
Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly what they're doing. If it happens, if it happens, who's to stop them from saying that? Joe, why don't you just be here? I know you want to be in the biggest company in the world anyway, diba? Diba? Like, you know when you lure ng mga tao away from the small time companies.
Saka, diba, Joe Hendry, I read something that he's already training at the PC.
Yes, he is.
Oh. So
he gets a PC pass.
Yeah,
it's a step closer to that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it's
what a time to be Joe Hendry.
It's like the fable of the camel in the tent. The more you ask from, the more they ask from TNA, the more they'll abuse it. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. May pictures na lumabas. I think it was an NXT taping na si Rosemary also appeared on NXT, diba? I believe that's happening next week kasi they already taped yung succeeding episode ng NXT. So that'll be their go-home show for No Mercy. Speaking of No Mercy, another number one contender was named this week when Jaida Parker won the Gauntlet Eliminator match to challenge Roxanne Perez. So I guess Jaida Parker and OTM, by extension, they're now tweeners. Kasi may heelish edge pa rin sila. But, Roxanne is clearly a heel. So I guess Jaida Parker has to be the de facto babyface here.
Yeah. Okay naman. I think they're getting over. I don't mind Jaida Parker. I haven't seen enough of her work to, but if they book her in this spot, then sharper they see something in her. And I want to see this. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Jaida Parker. One of my favorites down there in NXT. But I'm definitely surprised that they're giving her a prime spot here. Because there's also, you can say there's other NXT wrestlers down there who I think is more ready. But I guess Jaida Parker has the fan base. She's getting reactions each and every week. So, give her this prime spot. I mean, I don't expect her to win, but this is probably the biggest match of her career so far. This upcoming No Mercy PLE.
Yeah. We'll give you more of our thoughts on No Mercy, sabay na rin sa Bash in Berlin when we do our live stream and our predictions next week. For now, though, we got to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk about All In 2024. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network. predictions for All In 2024. This is going to be in Wembley Stadium. So, maaga-aga siya, 1 a.m. Manila time. We are doing a watch party sa Wrestling Podcast Discord for the patrons. Merong nagtanong dito sa comment. So, yes, may pa-watch party tayo, but only on Discord. So, if you want to be part of the fun, then please subscribe over on patreon.com/wrestling podcast. All right,
And we
let's
still don't
do
know.
our
Sorry, we still
prediction.
don't know. We still don't know if it's live or delayed because I'm indecisive. I can't decide.
Thank you, Sean Kingston. But yeah, I don't want to stay up from like 1 a.m. until 5
Yeah,
a.m.
diba?
Hindi na kaya ng katawang lupa ko, man. It's much harder now in my mid-30s than it was like a decade ago nung kaya ko pa. I just can't. I only do it kapag bayad ako. Obviously, pag like WWE event, diba? But otherwise,
sure.
I'd rather sleep. Okay, let's do predictions. We're going to start with 0 hour. It is Willow Nightingale and her partner, Big Tom, as Mark Briscoe calls him now, Tomohiro Ishii, against the team of Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway.
I don't know how this is gonna go. I mean, Willow has to win. Willow and Big Tom have to win here. Is it?
Big Tom.
One of the other
He's not a
team is not a wrestler.
Ah.
So, I don't know. Let's make Swerve na may papalit kay Big Stoke pala.
I'm actually frustrated by how TK is handling this feud. This should be this should be a big time money feud.
Anong gusto mo,
Between
Emil?
two-
Strap match?
Hindi naman. I'm frustrated with how he's handling. Kasi hanggang ngayon, we still haven't gotten a blow-off match to Willow versus Chris. I mean, we got the Owen Cup, but we haven't gotten a pay-per-view match between these two. And when they did the whole breakup angle, because it was, the breakup happened on a big stage, no Double or Nothing. I expect by now they're gonna have a one-on-one singles match on a pay-per-view, but di pa natin nakuha. They're I don't know if they're stalling or maybe they're gonna do it at All Out, but they're taking way too long with this feud. But with this match, I go with the baby faces, basically because Stoke is not a wrestler. So parang in kayfabe, why would not a wrestler win a match against two wrestlers?
Oy, Emil, hindi ako wrestler pero undefeated ako, ah.
He's right. He's
Oh.
right.
Okay, moving
Yeah, I
on.
go with baby faces.
All right. Moving on. Next match on the card. We got to talk about the Casino Gauntlet match. So right now it's Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Hangman Adam Page, Evil Uno, and several TBAs for a guaranteed world title shot.
Has to be Hangman, right? I don't know. If Hangman wins, you can kind of guess who's winning the main event. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
actually.
know.
Yeah.
No, but
Pero
no.
ito,
It means
sige.
nothing. Sige, it means nothing. Sige.
Sige.
That
Ito, I would love to ask you guys kasi sobrang daming TBA. Do you have anyone in mind as a surprise? Maybe a debut, surprise appearance?
Yung mainit na pangalan, Ricochet and Bobby Lashley, obviously.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Why not both? Diba?
Yeah,
Both
sobrang
men have,
daming
MVP.
Shelton Benjamin. Lahat na. But I go with the Hangman. Same thing. He's the biggest name, and storyline it would
announced
make
name.
sense. He would make the most sense. Saka Hangman.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yung pinaka-blind side for me is if Adam Copeland comes back. Parang, uy, napabilis yung paghil ng tricep niya or some shit. Pero parang 1 year yun di ba yung triceps?
Yeah, no way. No, it's not the triceps. Adam Copeland, it's the foot.
Puta nga pala.
When he
Sorry.
did that dive.
Right. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the London Ladder match. It involves 4 trios for the World Trios Championship. It's the Patriarchy versus the Bang Bang Gang versus House of Black versus Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club. So apparently magiging teams in Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta.
Interesting. Well, it depends on who question mark is, diba? So
Yun nga, Pac and
Yeah,
ah,
back in
sorry.
BCC.
Okay. No, I think it's still the patriarchy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Why else, diba?
yeah. I also think it's gonna be the patriarchy, retaining the titles. I really like I know they're referencing Christian's experience with ladder matches. You know, so I think I'm gonna give them the edge here. They're gonna retain.
Mhm. Do you guys think Mother Wayne will climb a ladder? She is a
No.
champion after all.
Can she do spots?
Malay
I
mo,
don't know.
diba? She
Siya
was
yung
married to a
tutulak.
wrestler and has a wrestler son. So who
Oh.
knows, right?
Tsaka doon sa website ng AEW, she's listed as a champion.
Who knows?
All right,
I would love to
moving
see
on.
that. I would love to see that.
Let's talk about the For the World Championship. Last chance match here for Hook against Chris Jericho. And if Hook loses, he can never challenge for the World Championship as long as Jericho is champion.
I hate the FTW championship, and I hate the fact that Hook is still stuck to the FTW championship, but he did a pretty convincing job of making me feel that it means a lot to him, you know?
Gawa ng tatay niya eh.
Oo nga, exactly. And wala. So I don't know. But it is time for Hook to move on, to bigger things, diba? So I don't know. I need Hook to get over, and I don't want Jericho to win, but he needs to move on. I don't know. Shit, ang hirap.
So
This
Hook
for
is the
fucking
Wesley of AEW.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I don't know. So yeah, Jericho wins. Let's just move on. Let's move Hook on from this.
This should have been just a collision match, honestly. Like
That's
I don't
naman.
see the point. I don't see the point of this being on a already bloated all-in card.
Alam mo naman si TK.
And I'm also sick of Hook going after the FTW championship. Parang hindi siya nagde-develop. Like he's still doing the same thing that he does, or he's going after the same thing he's going after for like 2 years now. And I thought when he made his debut years ago, I thought by now he'd be competing for the TNT or the
Yeah.
International Championship. So you know what? Just to force him to move away from the FTW Championship, even though I hate seeing Jericho win. Jericho should win. Para lang makamove on na tong si Hook.
What do you guys think of the existence of the FTW Championship at this point?
Oh God.
Wala eh. It's there. It is a thing. Wala.
AEW has too many titles already. We could live with that. No, when it was brought in, gets ko pa eh. Because at that time, you only had, what, the World Championship and the Tag Team Championship. Wala pa nga TNT Championship by that time eh. But now, we got all these titles. There's no need for this. There's no need for the FTW Championship.
Or at least, Emil, walang Continental Championship defense si Okada. Nakakaya naman daw sa'yo pag dinagdag pa yun ni TK sa card.
Yeah, I would rather have that than this.
Well, too bad. You're not getting it.
It's
I know.
Jericho. It's Jericho, so wala.
Uh-huh. All right, one last match before we take another break. At a three-way tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship. It's the Young Bucks defending against FTR and the Acclaimed.
I think the Acclaimed have earned back their status as hindi naman top team pero relevant team. So I would go with the Acclaimed here. I'm over FTR at this point right now. Like they're good, but I'm kind of over them and their act.
You know what? Out of all these three teams, I'd want Acclaim. I want the Acclaim to win the titles here. They have the most upside, I guess, in winning the titles. Like if FTR wins, then I don't see the scene improving. I don't see the tag team title scene being so much better. But with the Acclaimed, Rowe is right. They have earned their right to be champs again. Kasi as much as the Young Bucks are great, they're not really appearing on TV each and every week. They're not wrestling on TV much. So I want a set of champions that are gonna compete each and every week and defend the title. So I go with the Acclaim.
FTR would do that for 30 minutes every week on
Oh
Collision,
God.
Emil.
Oh, diba?
Oh, hiningi mo, di ba? Bibigay nila sa'yo. Let's take a break before Emil loses his mind, and let's hear from our other podcasts right here on the Pod Network. All right, let's do the second half of our all-in prediction, starting with the TBS Championship. So, ang daming acronym. TBS, CEO, DMD. Who wins here?
Mercedes. She has the heater. How is she gonna lose? Wala, yun yung pick ko.
Can both women lose?
Wow. Wow, Emil. Who hurt you?
I want Britt to lose harder, so Mercedes wins.
So, I was watching yung parang face-to-face nila kanina on Dynamite, and I realized both of these characters are pretty insufferable. I mean, I get it. Mercedes is a heel, so I guess she's doing her job, but Britt is not making for a sympathetic babyface right now.
She is not at all. Jesus Christ. Diba? Ang mean girl niya eh, diba?
Yeah, it's weird.
She really is a GDB, and then she's only a face because she's so over. She is the Punk of of the AEW women. Diba? Wala eh. It's one of those things I don't understand why you guys pull for Britt. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Diba? So I want Britt to lose harder.
Gago rin to si Allen in the comments. Alicia Atout with a steel chair.
Pero I'm more interested in what's gonna happen post-match. I want to see a return. I'm gonna be more excited for a return.
So Jamie
rather than
Hayter.
the match. Yes.
It's been a year. They're in
I want her
London.
to come back. I want her to come back.
I miss Jamie Hayter very much.
They need Jamie Hayter in this division.
Mm-hmm.
Because other than Mariah and Tony Willow, not much anything there.
No naman, they've got Nina Shirakawa waiting in the wings.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Diba? They've also got the Willow-Tony feud, the Willow-Chris feud that you love so much.
Oh, yeah. So. But yeah, I'm more interested with a possibility of return rather than this match. But I'm sure this match is going to get 15 minutes, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, you've got the coffin match for the TNT Championship. The scapegoat, Jack Perry, defends his newly christened TNT Championship against Darby Allin. So what do you think of the new title?
Okay lang.
May effort.
May effort nga, but it's just there. I mean, I guess it's something we envision, so props to him. It would be hilarious though if he lost a championship right after customizing it like that. After all that work in customizing it. But yeah, I think it's Jack Perry retention here.
Mm-hmm.
This match is funny. Battle of two gothic edgelords right here.
They made a point to point out na undefeated si Darby Allin sa coffin matches, which leads me to believe that Jack Perry will break the streak.
Yeah, again, they referenced it nga, and Darby can afford to lose rather than Jack because Darby's more of a made star than Perry. So Saka they're building up Jack after he came back and associated himself with the elite. So I would have Jack Perry win this one, and I think this should be it for this feud as well. So they've been feuding since
Mhm.
since Jack came back. So
It's forever.
this should be it. This should be the blow off.
One last question about this match, which would probably be an indirect plug na rin sa next Unmasked episode ni Raw. Will Darby Allin set Jack Perry on fire?
They should do it. They've been teasing it for several pay-per-views or matches now.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. They already tried that spot.
Alright.
Why would they try it again?
I don't know, for like the same reason why that other asshole set himself on fire. I don't know. Okay, next up. American Championship, MJF versus Will Ospreay. So I gotta point this out. Nung nagpo-promo battle kanina sina MJF and Will Ospreay, it was the first time in a long ass time that MJF did not shout all the time. Like he was actually speaking like a normal person, trying to talk like Kevin Owens. So I appreciated that. What do you guys think though about this rah-rah USA gimmick that MJF has going on now?
I don't like Pro USA gimmicks because it's really lazy work. Like there's nothing more that you can add to make it different. MJF has been doing some of the Trump stuff. Parang, if you follow Trump's shenanigans, you would recognize some of the things he's saying, yung strategies niya. He's even doing Ben Shapiro with the facts don't care about your feelings stuff that he did today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's lazy because it's so easy to do and use to piss people off. It's again, we say it's a low hanging fruit, but it is a low hanging fruit. Because I don't know. It's MJF likes being the caricature, which is why I enjoyed the moment kanina where he finally admitted why he has such a problem with Ospreay.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi,
When he said the quiet part out loud.
yeah, when he said the quiet part out loud, which is for those who didn't tune in, everyone loved him until Will Ospreay arrived in the company as part of the Don Callis family. Ironically, diba? So that's a nice little element that they finally added in there. So I think the Pro US thing is only while they're feuding, and while they're still in the UK for the show. So I think Ospreay is gonna get his moment back in Wembley.
Max is so much better than this pro USA shtick, honestly, and they could have just centered the feud about his jealousy. I like there was no need for all this Trump shtick. But I can see why he has to do it. I can see why they have to to do that, considering the pay-per-view is in London. But with regards to this match, I think Will is gonna win back the title. Because one of the things that is also centered with this feud is the use of the Tiger Driver 91, right? Like,
Binasbasan na ni Brian si Will Ospreay.
For some reason, Ospreay is afraid to do the move, and now with Brian giving him his blessing to do it, I still don't know why he's afraid. Honestly, I didn't. Did they even explain that?
Nagmature na raw kasi siya. Nagmature na siya. He doesn't want to hurt people.
Yeah, dude, he explained it to Don Callis in a whole thing backstage.
Okay, but it's quite
not
silly.
Paying attention ka, Emil, minus 5 points.
Because it's silly. Yeah, it's a wrestling move.
Why
You're
is
supposed
it
to?
Why is it silly? You said sorry when you called someone Bobo. And you're telling me that Will Ospreay not wanting to injure someone and paralyze him is silly? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, because I haven't seen someone getting injured with that move before.
Yun nga.
I would have.
When
I
he and
would have. Yeah.
when Brian and Osprey wrestled, Brian sold the Tiger Driver like
Okay,
death,
nga pala. Yeah.
like paralysis. That's where it was coming from.
And that's why tinahi nila ulit with Brian telling Will
That's
Ospreay
why,
to do it.
That's why Brian was the guy who said the thing.
Yes.
Emil,
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
long-term storytelling. Cinema.
Okay, so with now that being out of the way, just do the move again. Just bring back the move.
That's what they're banking on.
Yun nga,
That's what they
kaya nga.
said.
Kaya I think Osprey's gonna win.
Ito yung kangaroo kick this year. Diba last
Oh.
year kangaroo kick. Ngayon Tiger Driver naman. Okay.
So Osprey wins.
All right. Next up, the Women's Championship. Timeless Tony Storm versus Mariah May.
Mariah, Jesus Christ, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
If we wasted all that build, that turn, the cinema, the literal cinema that they stole from the 50s and 60s on Mariah not winning, this would be ano yung nangyari last year? Shit, I can't remember which.
Saraya.
Yeah, Saraya didn't win. Saraya not winning, diba?
No, she won.
No, she won.
No. If Mariah doesn't win,
Ah.
it's similar to something that happened last year. I just can't remember which. But they didn't pull the trigger on something. Anyway, yeah. So Mariah has to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is easily the best feud heading into All In. They've been putting a lot of effort, I will say, with all the vignettes and the segments. So Mariah wins. They have to give her this win. I mean, sobrang masasayang yung momentum niya and all the because out of everyone in the women's division, she is like one of the few who actually got the build up from TK. Who TK put all the effort to build up her character from being a lackey to now being her own on her own. So I guess the payoff to that is to have her win the title. So she's gonna win.
Pero ano mangyayari kay Timeless Tony Storm pag hindi na siya champion? Like, what does she do? Kasi she's a babyface, but also she's this wackadoodle character.
Yeah.
She'll rest for a while.
Ah.
Kasi ang tagal na niyang tagal na niyang naging in the spotlight, diba? With the whole Timeless character since last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this timeless character is just a face. And after a while, she's gonna go back.
It's her best character, and it's a face. Like it's the most fun she's had playing a character.
Because I don't see a long term use for this gimmick. Like this gimmick is so niche. So I think eventually she's gonna go back to or maybe just a mix of both, but not.
No, I think they exhausted niya a lot of it, but I don't think she's going back. Kasi how can you turn back from being again a wackadoodle personality, diba? Like how do you suddenly come back from and just get fixed? Diba? Di ka na delulu.
Feeling ko yung best example nito si Santino Marella. Like when they broke Santino, he stayed broken.
Oh, exactly. He's still broken in another company.
Diba? Ganun pa rin siya eh. Okay, let's close things out with the main event. Title versus career. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship. And over the last couple of weeks, Swerve Strickland really ramped up the villainy of it all. And did we need this? Kasi from me, yung title versus career stake in and of itself was enough to lend gravitas to this match. I don't think Swerve needed to be an asshole here.
When I wrote that note down kanina on our outline, that was before I saw the segment that happened on Dynamite. And ngayon gets ko na. But the problem is it took them so long until the go home, the very is it the last moment of the go home show to really drive home the fact that Swerve was being Brian needed the tension from Swerve being a dick to really
to turn on the American Dragon.
Not just that, but to really establish himself now. Oh, hindi pa ako tapos. I might have said before na I'm done, but I'm not done, and I'm still the best fucking wrestler in the world for the past 20 years. It took them so long to get there that before this, it was everyone found it unnecessary that the person that they wanted to cheer in Swerve had to break bad, diba? So if they got to this point much sooner without the weird mind games, you go sit in the front row while I beat down your student, diba? Stuff like that. uh sana na maximize yung pagiging kupal uli ni Swerve, diba? So we talked about this noong picks ng weekend reacts pala. And my opinion still stays the same. If they're writing you off, you don't let yourself get written off. And that's exactly what Brian did here. And I'm not about to see him go, walk that Swerve walk all over him quietly. So I think Brian wins and then retires. Wins to win the championship and establish himself as the best wrestler of the world and then retire as the best wrestler in the world.
There was a funny tweet that I saw from Swerve yesterday, and parang he subtweeted a tweet na Birdie's gonna be at ringside and she's gonna be rooting against Danielson para maging stay-at-home dad na daw siya. That was so funny. Sabi ni Swerve, "Oh, I got you, Birdie." Like,
I think it was Public Enemies who tweeted in response na Wembley Stadium will be booing a 7-year-old tomorrow on Sunday.
pag pinakita siya sa screen, no?
It will be interesting to see Brie, when she gets blown up on the screen, because for sure she has to be there, but they already established na Brie, Birdie, and yung isa pa nilang anak, I don't know the son's name. Now they're all gonna be there for this match, so that should be very emotional. I will also stand by what I said in Weekend Reacts na Brian will win the championship and then retire on his own terms, because they already did it for Sting earlier this year, which means na going out on your back is not necessarily the only way out of active competition at this point. So, Brian wins here.
Okay, so I will also stand by what I've been saying in the last week, that I think Swerve wins, and this is it for Bryan Danielson.
All right. For those of you who are expecting us to reminisce over Bryan Danielson, you'll have to wait another week kasi hindi pa namin alam at this point kung ano mangyayari sa All In. So we have to add that last chapter, that last note to the Bryan Danielson episode. So expect that retrospective Bryan Danielson ep in a couple of weeks. For now, though, we got to get out of here. Stay tuned to the feed, because next week we will be reminiscing over Daniel Bryan winning the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 2013. So yan ang pag-uusapan natin. We've also got our weekend reactions and picks of the week after All In on Monday. So it's going to be a busy couple of days for us here on the Wrestling Podcast. Any plugs on our way out of here for you, Emil?
Wala naman, just follow the pod on all social media platforms and subscribe to our Patreon program. That's it.
All right. Ro, will Unmasked get blazing hot this weekend?
No, it will not. That is still also up for debate on whether or not we want to talk about it. But if there will be a new episode tomorrow, it will be a mailbag episode. And we took some of your questions and we'll answer them. And then we'll also explain some of the stuff ABL and I have been doing recently. So go check that out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, Unmasked: The Chronicles of Romoran and Sandata.
All right. For me naman, I will be kicking off my long weekend doing hype man duties at the PBA games tomorrow sa Smart Araneta Coliseum. So if you're going to catch the doubleheader tomorrow, I'm going to be there. Please come say hi if you see me. And then a new episode of Now Steaming dropping on Monday, where we talk to Justin Chua, who makes TikTok content in Hokkien. So that's pretty interesting and very unusual. So go catch that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. For us, you can follow us at Wrestling2X Pod on TikTok and on Twitter, at Wrestling Podcast everywhere else. Individually, it is at Roiswar, at EML_Meister, at _Stancy, at Chino Supersized, and at Monday Night Rowan. Thank you very much to Babyface producer Jasper and everyone over at the Pod Network for all of their help behind the scenes. And we will catch you next week for another set of episodes of the Wrestling Podcast. On behalf of Ro Moran and Emil Nate, as well as Chino Liao and Rowan ASH, I'm Stan C, reminding you to stay safe, stay dry, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Later, Outcasts.
Peace.
Say his name and he